Welcome to live stream Yoga with Louise, tips and cues to keep you safe and strong on the mat. Today we are playing circuit style and we are going to demolish our goals by starving our distractions and feeding our focus. As always, play where you're comfortable, modify when you need to, rest when you need to. You ready? Let's hit the mat. We're going to begin today's practice finding a stand towards the top end of the mat. Feet may be stacking directly underneath our hips. Arms can be relaxed at your side or you can place them on your hips. We're going to find a nice bend on one knee. We're going to keep that bend and working from the hip, we're going to do a small knee lift, one to the side, one to the back, and we're going to keep repeating for roughly 10 rounds. Then pull your knee up, press and resist with both hands and hold for a slow count of 10. Give the legs a quick pedal out. Let's rinse and repeat on the second side. Find your bend and begin to lift one to the side, one to the back. Then pull that knee up, press and resist with both hands, hold. Give the legs a quick pedal out, and then coming into some pulsing heel lifts. You're going to lift your heels off the floor, not let them reground as you pulse up and down on the toes for roughly 20 counts. Hold a nice burn in those calves, gripping the mat with all 10 metatarsals. Then reground your feet, hug the sides of your thighs, and start to play with a drop and slide side to side. Let's call this a little tick-tock movement. Come to stillness, take a big breath in. On an exhale, nod your chin to your chest, hollow out your belly, round out your back, bend your knees if you need to, place your hands on the mat and step back into a plank line or a full 4-point kneeling position. Stay or add a knee drive, alternating left and right, whether you're working on the plank or the 4-point kneeling position. Come to stillness, walk your hands back towards your legs, ending at the back end of your mat. Roll up, restack, realign to repeat. Hands on your hips, find that little bend and start to play with that lift. One to the side, one to the back. Once you've done roughly 10 repeats, pull that working knee up, press, resist, stabilize through the trunk. Quick pedal to release. Let's rinse and repeat on the second side. Pull your working knee up, press and resist, stabilize through the shoulder girdle and the pelvic girdle. Quick pedal to release. Pulsing heel lifts for roughly 20. Reground, hug the side of your thighs and start to drop and slide, alternating side to side. Center yourself, take a big breath in. On an exhale, nod your chin to your chest, hollow out your belly, round out your back. Walk out into your plank or your 4-point kneel. Hold or add a knee drive. Come to stillness. Walk your feet up towards your hands. Rolling up ragdoll style to restack, to realign. Place your hands on your hips. Bend one knee and start to lift one to the side, one to the back. Then pull your working knee up, press and resist. Quick pedal out to release. Then rinse and repeat on the second side. One lift to the side, one to the back. Pull your working knee up, press and resist, hold, stabilize. Pedal it up, pulsing heel lifts. Reground your feet, hug the sides of your thighs and start to play with that drop and slide. Center yourself, big breath in, roll it down. Bend your knees if you need to, or walk back into a plank or a table, hold, or knee drive. Walk your hands back towards your legs, roll it up, bend one working knee and start to lift, one to the side, one to the back. Pull your working knee up, press, resist, stabilize through your trunk. Quick pedal out to release. When you're ready, rinse and repeat that leg lift on the second side. Pull your working knee up, press and resist with both hands, stabilize. Quick pedal to release, pulsing heel lifts. Reground your feet, hug the sides of your thighs, and start to play with that drop and slide. Center, align yourself, big breath in. On an exhale, nod your chin to your chest, hollow out your belly, round out your back. Walk out into a plank or a table, hold, or knee drive. Stabilize without making a thunking sound on the mat. Drop your knees, your shins and your feet. Walk up into a kneel and then just release your wrists by either flicking the fingers or finding a rotational release through the wrists. We're going to come right back to 4-point kneeling. You're going to give me a strong line through the neck and the spine. You're going to keep your gaze down on the mat. You're going to slide your right arm out and up to table, and you're going to replicate with the left leg, out and up. Tap the fingertips of your floating hand to the mat. Come back to your floating tabletop position, still the arm, and begin to tap your floating leg. Come back to your floating table, reground your floating arm, and then your floating leg. Restabilize through your trunk. Keep your gaze down on the mat. Slide your left arm out and up. Slide your right leg out and up. Tap the floating arm only. Still the arm, tap the leg. Back to your floating table. Trace your path back with the arm and then the leg. Flip over onto your side, setting yourself up low to the mat. Try to stack your body in one long line so it feels like your top shoulder, hip, knee, ankle are directly tracking behind one another. We're going to take the fingertips of the top hand and just loosely connect them to the mat. Stack your legs one on top of the other and then focus on the foot of the top leg. Pretend somebody's pulling those toes. You're going to make your top leg longer than your bottom, almost feeling like you're pulling out through the hip and then release back to neutral. So it's a little reach and a release. It's not a lift, it's a reach. Last one. Restack and change the angle of the bottom arm. Bring it slightly in front of your shoulder line. You're going to take your top hand and you're going to relax it to your hip. Now you're going to pretend that somebody's pulling on the fingertips of the top hand. So you're going to give me a lift of your head off the bottom arm. You're going to slide on the top leg and then relax back down. Lift and slide and then lie back down. Hold your last one. Melt back down. Roll onto your back. Bend your knees, ground your feet. We're coming into a little chest lift series and we're going to try to lead up into the chest lift and then hold it for the next 3 movement patterns if you can. So once you've found it, you're holding it. If you need to, you could of course re-ground to the mat. Interlace the hands behind your head, giving me a nice wide elbow. You're going to begin in neutral. You're going to take a big breath in to prepare. On an exhale, you're going to tilt your pelvis to 12. You're going to imprint your lower and your mid back, and you're going to peel up into a chest lift and lock it in. Draw your knees into table and start to play with a single leg stretch, alternating left and right. Then start to morph into a double leg stretch, bending and extending both legs in unison. End in the bend, extend the legs to table, lock the left leg in and start to drop and cycle on the right. If keeping your support leg floating and reaching for the sky is not for you, you could bend your support leg in table, or you could bend and ground your support leg in table. So pick the anchoring position on the left that works for you, and then drop and cycle on the other side, and we're shooting for roughly 10 repeats. Once you've done 10 repeats on the right, you're going to repeat the exercise on the left, picking the anchoring position that works for you. Then squeeze the 2 feet together, relax your head, chest, and arms to the mat. You can keep your hands relaxed at your side, or you can tuck them underneath your bottom if you need to. We're going to start by squeezing the legs together along the midline. Then we're going to open into a V and squeeze back shut 10 times. End in the squeeze, bend your knees, keep your feet together and play with an open and a squeeze through the knees. End in the squeeze and try to keep this narrow squeeze as you drop the soles of your feet to the mat. We're coming into a working bridge line. If this tight midline squeeze is too much for you, open up the feet and the knees into parallel as we start to play. When you're ready, you're going to keep those feet and knees squeezing together, and you're going to articulate up into a bridge line. At the height of your bridge, you're going to squeeze the glutes, then soften your glutes and drop halfway to the mat before you pipe back up and squeeze. Drop to relax, squeeze to float back up. Keep those narrow legs. End in the squeeze, hold it. Then bleed back down Take recovery and flip over onto your second side, stacking the body in one long line, using the fingertips of the top hand to ground to the mat. Focus on the top leg. You're going to pretend somebody's pulling on your toes. You're going to reach and then relax back. So you're almost trying to reach past the big toe of your bottom leg and then relax back to neutral. Last one. Relax back to neutral and bring the bottom arm slightly in front of your shoulder line and relax the top hand to your thigh. You're going to lift your head off the bottom shoulder and you're going to slide with the top arm and then relax back down. Hold your last lift. Peel back down, roll over onto your belly, taking a moment just to realign yourself centered on the mat. Bend your elbows, place your palms on the mat. We're going to set up for a working swan line. So draw your hands back slightly so that they're towards the bottom end of your rib cage and keep the elbows squeezed in. You're either going to peel up into a small cobra or a full swan in one fluid movement. Pretend that you've got a little marble underneath your nose. Start to roll it away. Begin to peel up into either a small chest lift with 1, 2, or 3 ribs anchored, or extend the arms fully, coming to rest on the heels of your hands and the kneecaps. Bleed all the way down. Tap your forehead to the mat and give me a small double leg lift. You're going to keep alternating between the swan or your cobra and a double leg lift. Last one. Press back into child pose from here, relaxing your elbows and your forearms to the mat, stacking one on top of the other, taking a little rest on the back of your hands. Then think 4-point kneeling from here. Tuck your toes under, pull your knees off the mat, walk your way up, finding your way back to your original stand on the mat. Hands on your hips, bend one knee and start to find that little lift, one to the side, one to the back. Shooting for 10 repeats. Looking for balance, looking for control. Don't make your lift too big. You're going to feel those glutes. Movement is small, but effective. Last one. Then you're going to pull your working knee up. You're going to stabilize through the shoulders and the pelvis. You're going to press. You're going to resist. Give the legs a little pedal out. And then let's rinse and repeat on the second side. Finding your lift, one to the side, one to the back. Then pull your working knee up, press, resist. Quick little pedal out to release. Then find your way into your pulsing heel lifts. Reground, hug the sides of your thighs and start to drop and slide. Center align, big breath in. On an exhale, nod your chin to your chest, hollow out your belly, round out your back, roll it down, walk it out into a plank, hold, or add a knee drive. Come to stillness. Start to walk your legs back towards your hands, bending the knees as you need to. Roll it up, ragdoll style. Hands on your hips or relaxed at your side, bend one knee and start to play with that lifting action, one to the side, one to the back. Then pull your working knee up, press, resist, stabilize. Quick little pedal to release. Set up your bend on the second side and start to lift, one to the side, one to the back. And pull your working knee up, press, resist, hold. Quick little pedal to release. Then find your pulsing heel lifts. Feel a nice little burn in those calves. Reground, hug the side of your thighs and start to play with that alternating drop and slide. Center align, big breath in. On an exhale, nod your chin to your chest, hollow out your belly, round out your back. We're going to walk it back into a plank or a full 4-point kneel, stay or knee drive. Body line stays parallel to the mat throughout, whether you're in the plank or whether you're modifying from 4-point kneel. Stabilize, walk your hands back towards your legs. Peeling back up, restack, realign. Bend one knee and start to play with that side and that back lift. Pull your knee towards your nose, press, resist, stabilize. Quick pedal to release. Then let's repeat our leg lift action on the second side. Pull your working knee up, Press, resist, stabilize. Quick pedal to release. Then your little pulsing heel lifts. Reground your feet, hug the sides of your thighs and start to drop and slide. Come back to the middle, big breath in. On an exhale, nod your chin to your chest, hollow out your belly, round out your mat, and walk it out into your plank or your tabletop position, stay or knee drive. Stabilize. Drop your knees to the mat without making a thump. Relax your feet. Walk your hands back towards your legs and just release your wrists for a moment with a flick or a circular release into the wrists. Back to a nice strong 4-point kneeling position on the mat. Long stretch through the neck and the spine. Keep your gaze down on the mat, just in front of your fingertip line. Slide the right arm out and up. Lock it in. Slide the left leg out and up. Lock it in. Tap your floating hand to the mat. Still your floating arm. Tap your floating leg. Float both limbs, paint your arm down, paint your leg down, stabilize through the trunk. When you're ready, slide the left arm out and up. Replicate with the right leg. Begin to tap your floating hand. Come to stillness, tap your floating leg. Come to stillness, paint your arm down, paint your leg down, and then flip over onto your side, assuming a low to the mat position. Stack your body in one long line. We're going to reach the toes of the top leg and then release back to neutral. So it's a tiny little move, almost as if somebody was pulling on that top leg and then releasing it to neutral. Last one. Restack your legs and bring your bottom arm slightly in front of your shoulder line. Relax your top hand to your hip. We're going to lift the head off the bottom arm. We're going to slide on the top leg and then release back down. Hold your last lift. Then roll onto your back, bend your knees, ground your feet. Just take a moment to center, align yourself on the mat. Tuck your hands behind your head, elbows nice and wide. We're coming into a single leg stretch. We're going to try to hold the chest lift for the next 3 movement patterns. Take a big breath in. On an exhale, you're going to tilt and imprint. You're going to bleed up into the chest lift and rock it in. Draw your legs into table and then start to play with an alternating single leg stretch. Start to double up, bending and extending both legs together in a double leg stretch. End in the bend, float the legs to 90, start to drop and cycle on the right leg. Your anchoring leg can be reaching toes to sky. The leg could be bent in table, or you could bend the knee and ground the foot. Change legs, dropping and cycling left. End with the legs squeezed together along the midline. Relax head, shoulders, and arms to the mat. We're going to open out the knees and squeeze back. Open up the legs, sorry, not the knees, and squeeze back. Roughly 10 repeats. We're going to end in the squeeze, add a knee bend, and start to clam out, opening and squeezing shut through the knees while keeping the feet together. In the knee squeeze, keep the legs narrow along the midline as you drop the feet and prepare for a narrow bridge line. Articulate up into your bridge when you're ready and give the glutes a good squeeze at the height of your bridge. Then soften your bum, drop halfway to the mat before you squeeze back up 10 times. Hold your next squeeze. Peel back down, roll onto your second side, stacking your body in one long line and using the fingertips of the top hand to just support your frame on the mat. We are going to reach with the top leg and relax back to neutral. Trying to make the toes and the leg of the top limb longer than the bottom limb before you relax back to neutral. Then release to neutral and bring the bottom arm in front of your shoulder line. Take the top hand, relax it to your top thigh. You're going to peel your head off the bottom arm. You're going to slide on the top thigh and then release back down. Hold your last one. Then roll over onto your belly, taking a moment to center align yourself on the mat and set up your hands for a swan line. So you're towards the lower end of your rib cage. You're going to peel up into either a small cobra or a full swan. Then release back down and give me a small double leg lift. For the leg lift, don't try it from the feet. Think of pulling up from the kneecap line, along your quads, along your lower belly muscles, along your hamstrings, along your glutes. Last one. We're going to find our way into child pose from here. Give yourself a couple of delicious lateral breaths here. Breathing into the back and the sides of your ribs with each inhale. Make your bum bones nice and heavy. Make your tailbone nice and heavy. Then bleed your way from here back into 4-point kneeling. We're going to do one thread the needle to either side before we come into a stand. Take a big breath in, floating your right arm up to the sky. On an exhale, thread underneath your left armpit, coming to rest on the side of your head. Keeping your left hand where it is, or sliding it forward, then up, then maybe circling round to reach for the opposite hip, and peeking gently up towards the sky while trying to keep your hips stacked over your knees and your belly button pulled into center. Bleed your way back to a 4-point kneeling frame to repeat on the second side. Big breath in, float the left arm up. Then thread when you're ready, coming to rest on your left ear. Hips stacked over knees. Slide your grounding right arm forward. Float it to T, and then wrap around to reach for the opposite hip. Keep belly to spine. Bleed your way back to 4-point kneeling. Tuck your toes under. Think bare knee lift, and use the bare knee lift to walk your way back up to the tall stand, grounding your feet, peeling up ragdoll style. We're going to open up our arms into a T frame. Palms are looking in the same orientation as your face, so the palms are looking towards the top end of your mat. You're going to take a big breath in, and you're going to drop your hands behind the neutral line, trying to bring the two shoulder blades closer together. Then on an exhale, start to hug the two hands together, but overlay right arm on top of the left, and start to hug your shoulder blades, nodding chin to chest and releasing the nape of your neck. Keep your stand nice and tall, shoulders, hips, knees stacked over one another. Big breath to open up into T. Then start to drop your hands behind the neutral line, bringing the two shoulder blades together and opening up generously through your chest. Then begin to close the hands. This time left stacks on top of right, hugging your shoulder blades, nodding chin to chest. Release your chin line to neutral. Open up your arms into T. Then drop your hands alongside your body, nodding chin to chest to end off today's session. Thank you so much for coming out and playing with me today. I do hope that you enjoyed today's practice. Till next time, keep it light.